Hello. Um, our next speaker will be talking about the shadow side of male rape. So I'm going to introduce him to you guys. Danish Hambali is a men's mental health advocate, a sexual assault and drug abuse survivor who wishes to shed light and eliminate the stigma of mental issues in men. In our society, mental health is looked upon lightly, and mental health in men is shamed upon. He has dedicated himself to sharing his stories with full transparency, albeit the taboo topics, to inspire and hopefully help others. He feels that men should be able to seek help for mental health without feeling embarrassed, and he hopes to provide a platform for them to seek help without the fear of being judged. So Danish it has fair skin, has black double eyelid eyes, and an oblong face, and is currently donning a terracotta colored jacket with a brown hat. So I'll turn over the floor now to him.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. First and foremost, I would like to thank Martha for giving me this opportunity to speak today and to speak about a topic which is I regard as really close to my heart. And this month, it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Every April, every year, it is time where like-minded people like me come out and advocate to share about this so-called taboo topic, and a topic that a lot of people they want to speak about, but they're afraid. And, I am a sexual assault survivor myself, and I have been through it. Um, I have battled it for the past 14 years of my life. And today I'm going to talk about what exactly happened, um, the steps I took right after the assault, how I coped, and how I seek help. It has been indeed a intense, interesting, dark 14 years, past 14 years of my life. And right now, I feel that I do not want to be sworn to silence. And it is my time to share my story in hopes to inspire and help other people out there. So thank you, Martha, for giving me this opportunity and for actually holding this event. It's a truly amazing event. And yeah, I'm just gonna start to my story. So when I was 16, I was sexually assaulted by a man, which includes penetration. At that age, I was still a teenager, and I was in my last year of secondary school, also known as last year of high school, and I was manipulated and I was sexually assaulted twice from the same man. And right after that assault happened, I took a life I wouldn't have taken otherwise. I fell into a dark phase of drug abuse. Before the drug abuse, it was basically just alcohol, just getting by, just forgetting with alcohol. But then when I started to party and meet more people, that is when I found drugs. And it, to be honest, it was, to me at that point of time, at that period, it felt like drugs was the only thing that made me forget. It made me happy. And also, I have to really tell you that right after the assault, how I felt really lousy. I felt like I'm not worthy of being a man. Um, and I felt really dirty. Back then when the sexual assault happened, I was a straight male, and I had a girlfriend. So right after that, I broke up with her. I fell into this dark hole, and this is really tough for me because I remembered waking up every single day, having flashbacks, and the first question that popped to my head was, why me? Why did I let it happen? Why did I allow it to happen? Why didn't I defend myself? Why didn't I say no? In true fact, I did say no, but it happened anyways. when you're being sexually assaulted, a lot of people, they just don't know what to do. And that was what exactly I did. I did nothing. And you might be wondering, why didn't I tell anyone? Well, here's the thing. Many years ago, when we talk about rape, when we talk about sexual assault, we hear a lot of stories, a lot of news about female victims. This was 14 years ago. And us, me being a man, there was a stigma surrounding this whole topic. Like, people perceive us as individuals who are strong, individuals who should not let things like this happen to them, individuals who can defend themselves. But it did happen to me. And I was really embarrassed to reach out or to even tell my family. And I took that life of drug abuse. And here's the thing, a study has been made and stating that 1 out of 6 men have been sexually assaulted in the slightest way ever, by a form of molesting or just by a form of unwanted touch. There are many men who are sworn in silence because of the stigma surrounding, because of the possible repercussions they feel they would cause. And I couldn't tell my family because I was embarrassed. And back then, there were no proper help channels for me to reach out to. A lot of the organizations that were offering help, they were targeted a lot to women. And yeah, I felt really lost. And, during the 13 years, trying to get through this, with drug abuse, this happened because obviously I was traumatized and I needed something to numb my trauma. And during the 13 years, I actually tried to attempt suicide for at least 5 times. At first I was already trying to get over my sexual assault. And second, I had the drug abuse to think of, and my whole life was just going through a loop over and over again for the period of 13 years until I actually, at the age of 27, I remembered, right, I wanted to drown myself at the beach, and something just told me, like, stop, you got to fix it, you got to do this, you got to fight again, fight. And I did. At the age of 27, I actually went to rehab, and it wasn't easy going to rehab as well, because in Singapore, the only rehabilitation center that we have, which is government run, it is located within the prison vicinity. And, I thought I was like really looking for help, but what happened next was I was treated like a criminal. I was in a third world prison for a year. I'm not going to talk about that part, but it was detrimental. Right after I got out, I fell into a darker place. I wanted to treat one thing at a time. I wanted to treat my drug abuse first, but then it just got worse after I got out from rehab. And yeah, I relapsed 10 times harder. I even tried to attempt suicide again because it was tiring. And so when I got out and when I relapsed hard, my family noticed, and and they asked me what exactly is wrong with me. And at the age of 28, that was where I told them. It was the first time in my life I have told anyone about my rape encounter. um, and true enough, it felt like there was a huge load that has been lifted off my shoulders. I remember that night, everyone, my mom, my brother, and my dad, my sister, every one of us, we were crying, and they were like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And I told them, "How would you react if I were to tell you?" And then we started looking for alternative ways of getting to make me better. So rehabilitation failed. And then we found the Institute of Mental Health. In Singapore, it's known as it's known as IMH. And then again, when the Institute of Mental Health came out, I was pretty skeptical as well, because again, there was this stigma surrounding such institutes. A lot of people think that you belong to such institutes because you're crazy. So it took me a while for me to really agree to going there. And when I did, I have to tell you, it was amazing. I had help. I finally got help, the right help. They, they prescribed me with medication to treat my cognitive pattern. After many years of drug abuse, naturally, it alters your cognitive pattern, and it sure altered mine. I, I couldn't think right. I didn't know what was real and what was not. I didn't know what was right and wrong. At 175 meters, 1.75 meters, I was only weighing about 50 kgs. I was severely underweight. There were dark circles around my eyes. It was crazy. I didn't like looking at myself. So yeah, I got medication, and then they put me through a series of cognitive behavioral treatment, CBT. I got to meet a psychologist, and it was a one-to-one session, and that was where um, we kind of went to the root of the problem, which was my sexual assault. And at that time, I found another organization. Um, they call themselves the SACC, the Sexual Assault Care Center here in Singapore, which is founded by Aware Singapore. So previously, Aware Singapore, they also target a lot of um, their programs for women, but recently they opened it up to men as well. And here's an interesting fact. In Singapore, before 2020, if a man were to sexual assault another man, it is inadmissible in court. That means you cannot be punished. It is almost impossible for you to go to trial because it wasn't in the penal code. But in 2020, they revised the penal code, and finally, men can report a rape. And at that point of time, everything was falling into place because I was like, oh my God, finally I can speak up. I'm going to get better. I can speak up. And what I did, I actually went to the police and reported the perpetrator. And I remember that day clearly. I needed to meet so many officers. I was kept in a room for hours, just reliving my experience over and over again. But I knew it was for a good cause. And I knew that this is going to be one of the last few times in which I can really live through this and gain closure. And here is the thing. no matter the gender, rape is rape. And we have to normalize speaking about it. We have to talk about it. We have to share our experiences in hopes for us to become relevant to others who have been caught in this situation. A lot of times, a lot of people, they don't wish to report is because they don't think anyone would actually understand how it is. They don't think that it's they think that they're gonna get in trouble. They think that people are gonna look at them differently. I was in that dark place for 13 years, and finally, as soon as I shared it with someone, I felt better. And the reason why I'm advocating mental health in men and sexual assault in men is solely because of this reason. I do not wish for anyone to adapt a disruptive coping mechanism just like me. And as mentioned, men are much more susceptible in adapting such mechanisms. And personally, I've met so many, and they are still stuck in that place. And I would like to reemphasize that there are help channels now in Singapore. And finally, the penal code has been changed, and there is an outlet to share and to seek help. And Martha, again, this event is an amazing stepping stone, you know, although we don't have as much viewers now, but rather little viewers on compared to none. We are still making a difference. And thank you so much for this, Martha. And, you know, I can go on and on talking about my experience, but I think it's 15 minutes now. And yeah, if you wish to really find out more, you can follow my mental health men Instagram page. It is the_mental_health_ page on Instagram. And, you know, you can just drop me a DM and I'll be more than happy to share you more. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Danish, for that. The floor is open now for questions. So there's a question. What changed in you that made you want to speak out even with the risk of being shamed for it?
That's the thing. What changed in me is I do not wish to to allow others to shame me anymore, because this is for me. And a lot of people need to know that they're doing this for themselves. They're not doing this for anyone else. Although it's difficult, but this is an important milestone. We need to speak up to heal ourselves. And in hopes creating a ripple effect while doing that and destroying the stigma that's surrounding this topic. Yeah.
Another question, for people who are going through the same thing, how do they reach out for help?
So as mentioned, in Singapore, when if anyone who's going through who has been sexually assaulted, the first step I would suggest is to go to the Sexual Assault Care Center. You can actually go to their website on sacc.org.sg, if I'm not wrong, and you can actually contact them via the WhatsApp chat. They've got a 24-hour help chat for you to go to and to really share your assault. If you've been sexually assaulted 24 hours prior, and if you feel like you need help, you can also contact them, and they will actually accompany you to the hospital to get a rape test kit. And yeah, so I have to really emphasize that the SACC and Aware Singapore takes this stand really seriously, and they have lots of friendly, helpful case managers in which they can help you along the way for the whole process, even inside the police rooms, while sharing your reliving your experience again. So they would definitely be there to help you, and yeah, I can safely endorse this because I went through the same thing.
Okay, so last question. Was he someone you knew and trusted? Would that have made a difference in how much the incident affects you?
He wasn't someone I was close to. To be honest, he was sort of like um my boss when I was working. And at that young age, he manipulated me, and yeah, I was working as a teenage volunteer. Even when I was 16, I was already volunteering, and I wanted to do something for a good cause, but unfortunately, this happened. Um, and I think it doesn't matter if it's someone we know or someone we don't. Rape is rape, as I mentioned. Sexual assault is sexual assault. It doesn't matter if you notice someone. It could be your family member. It could be your best friend. It could be anyone. It could be someone who's sitting beside you in the subway. So yeah, I think one thing we need to understand is that we cannot look at people, at the relationship we have with that person.
Okay, so that's all for the questions. So may we ask also if you can write down your Instagram handle in the chat because some people are asking for it. So thank you, Danish, for sharing with us your vulnerability and your story. So moving on, let me pin the next